Hey, what's up guys? My name is True Wonder Dog, here today with a guide on how to play Alien. This guide will cover her special moves, attack strings, and everything in between. So sit back and relax as we break her down step by step. As you can see, we already have the special moves in the top left corner of the screen, and this is her default variation, so all of these moves are available in any variation. So first on the list we have Tail Flip. This attack hits overhead and is -7 on block. So in theory, some characters can punish it, but it's a very difficult punish. Most of the time, all they're going to do is be able to jab you out of it. That's all they're really going to get off of it. And the reason this comes in handy is because a lot of Alien's attack strings are unsafe. So like this, very unsafe. That last hit is unsafe. But it's also a low. So if you want to trick your opponent, that last hit can now be an overhead, and it's safe if they block it. So if they somehow do block that very difficult mix-up, you're still safe. Even attack strings like this. Now pretty much safe. Again, they can jab you after it, but they're not going to get much else. It does have slight pushback on block, so it's a pretty safe attack. It's great for making all of your unsafe attack strings safe, and it's all around just a great way to trick your opponent with attacks that would normally be low, so even this one. Hits low at the end, right? Not anymore, now it's an overhead. Just an all-around tricky move, in my honest opinion, one of Alien's best special moves in her arsenal. The enhanced version launches the opponent for a full combo, but the trade-off is that it's no longer safe anymore, so keep that in mind. I should also mention the tail flip can also be done in the air. Both the regular and the enhanced version can both be done in the air, so just keep that in mind. It's always an option. Next up we have Xeno Strike. This attack is very unsafe, but a great way to end most of your combos. So as long as you use it in combos, it's always a good idea. Outside of a combo, very bad idea, very risky, very unsafe if the opponent blocks it. You're going to eat a full combo. Now the enhanced version has armor, making it a great wake-up attack. It's still equally unsafe, but still a great option if you're on your back and have no options. Go ahead and wake up with some armor. Next we have Tail Snag. This attack hits low and has tons of range. It's very unsafe on block, but as long as you space it properly, you should never really be at any risk. So learn the optimal range this attack can be used at, because it's just deadly from a distance. The enhanced version does more damage, it's still unsafe, and honestly, the damage isn't always worth it, but the real benefit is if you're a certain variation like Acidic, you can now keep your zoning game happening because now they're at full screen. So that's the benefit of the enhanced version. Not really worth the damage, but the spacing is great for zoning. Get the opponent at full screen. And last on our list we have the Crawl. This attack hits mid and covers a lot of distance. It also goes under fireballs as long as they're not mids. Most fireballs in this game are not mids, but some are, so make sure you learn the matchup and learn which characters can hit you. The enhanced version is quite interesting because it actually extends your combo. That was a very easy 30% for just one bar, and it switches sides as well. So if you're in the corner and you want to turn the tables on your opponent and put them in the corner, the enhanced version is a great weapon. Keep in mind it does not have armor, so it still will not go under mid projectiles. The only benefit you're really getting is that the combo keeps on going. That's about it. Still a very good move though. Very tricky, very sneaky. Alright, so that covers that variation. Let's go ahead and go into her next one. Not sure which one it is, but I know I want to save Tarkatan for last. Alright, we got Acidic. That's good. Alrighty dogs, give me a second while I put the special moves up on screen for you. Alrighty, so we only have 2 special moves, but make no mistake, this variation is very, very deadly. And once you corner the opponent, you're easily one of the deadliest characters in the entire game. Alrighty, so first off we have Exo Sting. This attack staggers the opponent and does damage over time, so go ahead and watch Predator's health bar. He lost probably between 5 and 10% just then. And there's 3 different versions. There's a close version if you hold back, and there's a far version if you hold far. It also leaves a puddle on the ground that's active for just a little bit, so pretty good way to command space. It can also be done in the air, which is pretty damn deadly because most characters can't do this, right? Outside of Quan Chi, many characters didn't have air attacks, so this is pretty deadly stuff. And it staggers as well. Honestly, just an all-around good move. The enhanced version hits twice, so that's pretty damn deadly, and it does a lot more damage over time. Look at how much more damage he's taking. That's almost 15%, okay? Don't believe the 8% on the screen. That's about 15% over time, and the opponent has no way to remove that, so it's a guaranteed 15% damage. So if I do a combo like, say this one, it says 14, it says 16%, right? But just look at that. That's easily almost 25%. That's a lot of health to lose. And I forgot to mention this, but the default version is -8, so technically it's not safe, but if you space it properly, you're always going to be safe. From over here, no character can punish you in 8 frames. Now the enhanced version is actually +9, so it's never at risk. Even if the opponent blocks your string, you can actually save yourself with this attack. because it's always going to be +9, you're always going to be at advantage. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of players go for throw resets, so let me go ahead and see if I can do that real quick. Yeah, you can totally go for a throw after that. You're not at advantage, but it's still very sneaky to your opponent to throw that fast. I saw Honeybee doing a lot of sneaky grabs when he was playing with Acidic, so it's definitely an option. The enhanced version, not so much. The enhanced version pushes him back quite a bit, so going for the throw is a bit harder to get away with, but you can still do it if your run cancels are on point. I don't recommend doing it though. I don't recommend it. And next up we have Acid Blood. This attack has very poor range, but does a lot of damage over time. It also leaves a puddle, so just like before, it's a similar attack, but it's much more painful, especially the enhanced version. And just like the Exo Sting, it's -8 on block, so pretty damn safe. You maybe get punished by certain characters who are faster, like Raiden, but most characters can't punish you for blocking this. It's a pretty deadly attack. And the enhanced version just lays down the damage. Not so much here, but let's go ahead and put Predator in the corner real quick, because that's where the scary damage really starts to happen. So I'm going to do a basic combo and then end with it, so check this out. Look at that. Okay, it says 29%, but just watch him continue to bleed. Oh my gosh, that's almost 35%, you guys. Like, that's ridiculous. For just one bar in the corner for a very short combo, this thing is very deadly. And keep in mind that the acid does stack. So if I do this, and then do this, and then this, he's just continuing to burn. Look at that health just melt, you guys. Like I said, this variation is very scary in the corner. It's just frightening as all hell. The opponent's losing so much health. Just a terrifying experience for him. I don't know how they deal with it, you know, how they're gonna come back from this one. Look at all this fucking bleed. Oh my god, look at all that health just being drained away. Alright dogs, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit silly. Let's go ahead and move on to the next variation real quick. Alrighty, so next we have Conjurer. Just give me a couple seconds and I will put the inputs on screen. Okay, so once again we only have 2 special moves, but they are very deadly. First off we have the Overmorph, which summons an egg and a facehugger leaps out and grabs the opponent and stuns them long enough for a full combo. So if that catches Predator, I can jump in and get a full combo. Pretty scary stuff. Now there is a timer and you can't do them back to back, so you do have to wait a little bit before you can summon a second Overmorph. That is one nice little nerf. You can't just keep doing it back to back like Sub-Zero's Ice Clone. There is a limit on how much you can do it. Now aside from the default version that you just saw, if I hold back I can do a close version, and if I hold forward I can do a far version, which is right behind the opponent. You can't quite see it, but that's okay. Check this setup out. Restand. So that's what makes the Overmorph so deadly. If you knock the opponent into it, it'll face hug them and actually force them to stand back up. You couldn't quite tell there because he was right next to it, but check this out. Airborne, caught, back on the ground. That's pretty crazy stuff, right? That's like what, 35%? Okay, 34%. For no meter whatsoever, it was all just a setup. So in order to get that guy on screen, you're going to want to end a lot of your combos with him. So launch the opponent and then go ahead and summon him like this. I recommend the far version, that way it's always behind them, and they're kind of forced to come at you, or at the very least they're forced to block. I always recommend that. You can do the default version too, but if you do that, they have a chance to back up, and you don't want to really give them that option. So I always put it behind them, and then I like run in for a low or an overhead. And then they're stuck, see that? Pretty crazy stuff. I could have done low or overhead there, he would have had to guess, and if he guessed wrong, full face hugger combo. Now the enhanced version's only benefit is that the area of effect gets a lot bigger. So the ring's a lot bigger there, right? You see how it's like a full jump in front of me? Whereas normally it's much smaller. That's the only difference. It's a bigger ring. That's about it. Look at that huge ring though. That's pretty nuts, right? It is pretty big. I mean, it's this versus this. It's an obvious difference, but I don't think the meter is really worth it unless you really want to get that win and the opponent's on their last leg. Go ahead and lock them down with it, but I honestly can't see a reason to ever use the meter burn version. Okay, so one last thing. If the opponent's not near the Overmorph, not bad example, if the opponent's not near the Overmorph, you can do the same input again and he'll jump out on his own. And look at that, he actually tracks the opponent, which is some pretty crazy stuff. Now you can't combo into it that way, but you can force the opponent to block. So that's pretty scary stuff. Keep in mind that if you hit the opponent, the Overmorph jumps off, right? So don't hit them too much, otherwise you're going to lose your combo. You got to time it just right so that it snags them and you can optimize your damage. Next on our list we have the Drone Drop. This hits overhead and drops an alien straight out of the sky. If you hold back, the drone drops in front of you, which is great for covering your ass. Say you do something like this, opponent thinks you're open, but you're actually not. The drone was actually there to save you if he tried to hit you or run at you. Keep in mind, it doesn't land in front of you, it lands in front of the opponent. That's an important detail. Now if you hold forward, the drone drops behind the opponent. So if they're trying to backdash or jump away, this should catch them. But the enhanced version is where things get interesting, because you can actually combo into it for some easy damage. Oh, that's some 30% right there. And what's even better is the drone drop is actually safe. So unlike this move that's kind of a gamble, you now have the drone drop, which is always safe. So you do something like this, safe. Do the enhanced version, it combos, and it's still safe. So that's some pretty crazy stuff. I can't believe I dropped the combo, but you know what, we're moving on, okay? I'm moving past it. Alrighty, so last but not least, we have the Tarkatan Variation. This variation is a very risky variation. Pretty much everything you do is unsafe, so it's all about your skill with the Rekkas, which is called Tarkatan Rush. So this attack has two different full combos. You have this one right here, which ends with a throw and can actually be enhanced for more damage at the end. So you can get a short combo off right there and get yourself about 22%, you know, not crazy. But that's on top of the already existing combo, right? Because you're not just going to start off with the Rekka. You're going to, you know, combo into it with some sort of attack string. Preferably this one, probably. Lots of easy damage. That being said, every single part of that Rekka is unsafe. So you want to kind of delay it and trick the opponent. Don't do it rapidly like this, because then they know that it's not over. They're going to keep blocking. But if you delay it, they may attack just a bit too early and get opened up. And that's the beauty of a Rekka in pretty much any fighting game. It was the same with Tanya in this game. You gotta delay it as much as possible, and they're not quite sure if you're done or not. That's if they block it. If you hit, go nuts and just do the inputs right away and get the combo. But if they block it, you gotta really delay that stuff and trick them. Maybe even don't delay the first hit, but then super delay the third hit. That way you trick them. It all comes down to that sort of mind game, that sort of meta. And as you saw just then, I did the alternate combo, which ends with circle instead of throw, and that knocks the opponent on their butt and it hits low. So that's the mix-up. Either they get thrown or they get sweeped. Pretty sneaky stuff. But again, it's always unsafe. Oh, look at them roar at each other. That's some pretty hype shit. Holy crap. Now the enhanced version obviously has armor, and it's pretty damn fast. This is a great way to escape a lot of pressure. So it's a good wake up attack, and it's a pretty good frame trap. An all around good move if the opponent doesn't block. If they do block, you're still eating a full combo because it is very unsafe if they do block it. So that's why you have the Rekkas though. You know, you're gonna try and trick them into trying to open you up, but really you're not done yet. Alright, so that was quite a mouthful, so let's go ahead and move on to Chop Chop. A very simple, very basic attack. It's unsafe, but a damaging way to end your combos and gives you a stylish brutality if you connect it on the last hit. The enhanced version does even more damage, but is also unsafe on block. It also throws them away, which may not be the best thing in this variation, so I wouldn't do it outside of the corner, because you lose all your projectiles in this variation. You gotta get back in there manually. So I wouldn't recommend the enhanced version unless you're trying to get them in the corner, because otherwise you got a lot of ground to cover. Especially against Predator with all those projectiles, man, you're gonna be dodging shit, you're gonna be ducking, gonna be trying to run in with the crawl, trying to be as sneaky as possible. So I don't recommend the enhanced version. Honestly, I don't recommend the move much at all, but it is pretty damn stylish and fancy, and some good damage, so pretty good easy damage. Next we have the Blade Spin, which does a decent amount of damage and ends in a low. So some pretty sneaky stuff. If the opponent blocks it, it's very unsafe. This entire variation is unsafe, it's always a gamble. But keep in mind the enhanced version is amazing because it launches the opponent for a full combo, and I believe you can follow it up with a neutral jump, whereas normally you can't with Alien, so that's a pretty damn big plus. That's a very easy way to get some damage in this variation. It's very unsafe, so always combo into it, because if you do, some very easy, very free damage. Oh, just look at this, 30%, easy, no problem whatsoever. Pretty damn cool stuff. I like that move a lot, and the enhanced version of course has armor. I mean, honestly, most of Alien's moves have armor, so that's a nice option that she has. She can almost armor her way out of anything if she has the meter for it. Alrighty dogs, a couple more things worth noting in this variation. She has one unique attack string, and it's Deadly Splinters. This thing has some crazy range. Not here, but right about here, it has this range. So look at that, pretty crazy, and it's -6, so it is in fact safe if you don't follow it up with the full thing. That's still a ton of range though, and it does more damage than usual I think too. Although don't quote me on that, it may actually be the same, it's 6%. But still, that's a lot of crazy range, pretty crazy stuff. A great punish, very fast, lots of easy damage. And good range, just holy crap that's a lot of range. She also gets a new unique attack called Blade Crush, which hits overhead, and if you can run in, you get a short combo. That's going to be a bit tricky for new players, but veterans will have a lot of fun with that overhead. It's pretty damn good. It may be able to be done twice, I'm not sure though. I think I saw somebody do it twice, but I don't know why you would. Just do the basic stuff. They're right there, you know, just do the easier combo, make it easier on yourself. Don't do it back to back. Still though, a pretty damn nice overhead. It's unsafe if blocked, it's -10, so it is a bit of a gamble. It's also airborne though, so it'll beat throws and maybe go over some low attacks. So it's a mixed bag. It's got some benefits, but it's also a lot of risk attached, so be careful how you use it. Alrighty dogs, so that covers all the special moves, so now we're gonna go ahead and move into her attack strings. And voila, they appeared on screen like magic through the power of editing. So let's go ahead and get to it. First off, we have Overpowered. This attack string is 100% safe, which is rare for this character. Most of her attack strings are unsafe, so it's a nice hit confirm. If it lands, you may be able to get a little special move out, right? Just a little bit of extra damage, but it's not going to lead to some crazy combos. Just a nice safe option. Good for punishes. Then we have Silent Stalker, which hits low and is also safe. It hits low in the middle. It's some pretty sneaky stuff. It can't be comboed after, but it's a nice safe option with some pretty decent range. I mean, you can't ask for much better than that. It's some pretty damn good range. And then there's Narcissus, which launches the opponent for a very short combo. You can't do a neutral jump punch or anything crazy like that, but you can get a short combo and do some pretty good damage. That being said, it's not safe, so be careful how you use it. Then we have Zeta 2. This is your main way to get damage in pretty much any variation. This attack string hurts a lot and can be followed up with the pounce attack for some easy damage. So that's a benefit. The minus is that it is unsafe, so you don't always want to finish it. You want to end right here if you can, if the opponent blocks it. If they don't block, add that third hit. It's very easy to hit confirm. Just an all-around good attack string. I love using it to start combos and for finishing them too. Just a really heavy hitting attack string. And then we have Kane's Son. This attack has incredible range in the Tarkatan Variation. In other variations, it's still a pretty damn good punish, and it hits low at the end and causes a knockdown. That being said, you can cancel before the last hit and get a full combo off. So that's some pretty cool stuff. I fucked it up. Give me one chance to redeem myself. I'm just a bit too fast sometimes. Alright, there you go. So that last sweep doesn't have to come out if you cancel it early. And a lot of the times you should, because if you do let the whole thing come out, it's unsafe. Whereas the roll makes it pretty damn safe. We mentioned that earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat myself. And then we have SOS. This attack is great for carrying the opponent towards the corner, and does some pretty damn good damage. However, it's not safe on block, and it's got a lot of hits in it, so it's going to decay your combo's damage, right? That's how damage scaling works in combos. Your attacks aren't going to do very much damage because it's 5 hits, right? Whereas this is just 2, and it's almost the same amount of damage, so keep that in mind. It's a great way to carry your opponent towards the corner, but outside of that, it's a pretty damn huge risk. And it's also unsafe, so just be careful. Alright, now we have the second set of attack strings. Sorry dogs, I can't fit them all on screen at once. But first off, we have Hyper Speed. This attack is -7, so if spaced properly, it's always safe, right? It's got some pretty damn good range. Oddly enough, the first hit isn't as good as the second. The second has a lot more range, and the third has the best range. So if you connect the first hit, the next two are guaranteed because they actually have better range. It also knocks the opponent down for a long amount of time, so you can run in and get your shenanigans started, right? Just run in, close the distance. Then we have Doomed, because this attack has incredible range, like almost 3/4 of the screen. And the second part has the same range, so it's honestly an absurdly good footsie tool. You get to hit low twice from almost full screen? That's nuts. The opponent really has to protect their shins against this attack. It's just crazy good range. And if they keep blocking low, you always have the overhead with back 2. So make sure you mix it up between the two. Keep your opponent guessing. And then you have Embryo Plant. This attack hits overhead and knocks the opponent down for some more shenanigans, right? You can jump over them, do whatever you want. They're down on the ground for a pretty good amount of time. So it's pretty sneaky. You may be even able to run them to the corner. Let me see real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and check. Yeah, you can run them a little bit, right? You can push them towards the corner on their corpse if you want to. Keep in mind that all of Alien's kicks have some pretty good range. So the sweep has crazy range, the down 3 has some pretty damn good range, down 4 has even better range, just all around crazy stuff. And the down 2 is a headbutt. Doesn't have very good range, but it's pretty damn fast for an uppercut, so that's your benefit. You also have Bladed Sting, which is a pretty good anti-air, and it's good for corner combos too. If you launch the opponent, you can usually get 1 or 2 of them in before the opponent hits the ground. So it's a good way to add in some extra damage in corner combos. And then we have the X-Ray. Honestly, Alien's X-Ray is not good in any way at all, really. It has a ton of hits, which means damage scaling is going to be a huge issue at the end of combos, so you don't really want to combo into it, and its base damage is only 32, so it's the bare minimum amount of damage you're going to get for an X-Ray, and honestly the range isn't even that good either. It's not that good for even punishing anything. So my advice to you, don't use the X-Ray unless it's a last resort. Like, the only good reason to ever use it that I can think of is if your opponent has the meter to break the combo, and they're about to be killed, so you want to finish them off, go ahead and do the X-Ray, because the only benefit it really has is that X-Rays can't be combo broken. So only use it if it wins the round and your opponent could otherwise break the combo. That's the only time I recommend using it. Alrighty dogs, let's wrap this up with some basic bread and butter combos. The button translations are in the video description below. If you enjoyed the guide and found it helpful, please leave a like down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment too. Tell me what you think. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos, because we have content on this channel every single week. It is never a dull moment on Underdog Gaming, so make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.
Fatality.